Hi, today is Monday, March 20th, 2017. It's the first day of the fourth week of Lent, and this is A Sweet Speaks. And now we have to talk about the Islamic State warriors. According to some reports or statistics, there are now 150 Islamic State terrorists living in Sweden. People who went to the Islamic State and fought for them and who are now back in Sweden. And it seems like nothing's happening to them. When the Minister for Democracy in Sweden, Alice Bah Kuhnke, was interviewed in Swedish TV, what was it, a week ago or something, pretty recently, she claimed that there is good work being done with rehabilitating these people back to the Swedish society, especially in, my throat. Especially in Gothenburg and Umeå. The interesting thing is that the Swedish internationally recognized terror expert Magnus Ranstorp then said that no such thing is happening in any of these cities and that she was just making it up. And the democracy minister, Alice Bah Kuhnke, is being called into the constitutional committee in Parliament in Stockholm to explain herself. I'd say that I trust Mr. Ranstorp a lot more than I trust Ms. Bah Kuhnke, whose achievements before becoming a minister, I guess her biggest achievement was leading the Swedish TV show The Disney Club in Swedish TV when I was a kid. And then she's had some NGO positions in Sweden, which really is a code word for, well, leftist employment. I wish they had that kind of employment for me, but for the right side. But anyway, I shouldn't digress already. And the thing is, also another Swedish minister, Morgan Johansson, who also should be responsible for this, he recently said that they cannot punish Islamic State warriors retroactively in Sweden. That because it wasn't a crime to travel to the Islamic State, they cannot be punished for this. Well, first of all, anyone who travels to this area from Sweden should be under suspicion for having committed terrible things. Rape, murder, what have you. Putting people in cages and putting fire on, they are terrible things. Throwing gays off rooftops, yeah, you can just, it's a long list of things you could put them under suspicion for. Second of all, there is already a law on this in Sweden, and that is the law on treason, which the moderate, that means the moderate coalition party, sort of the Swedish conservatives, although they are not very conservatives at all, but Hanif Bali, originally a Persian guy, now a Swedish citizen and a member of Swedish parliament, he's a good guy, maybe the only good one they got. And he pointed out already in 2015, I think, that you could just use the Swedish law on treason. That if you fight for a foreign organization that could be considered a threat to Swedish security, you should be tried and convicted for treason. They've got a similar law in Denmark, and as far as I know, they are using it. They should use it in Sweden too. When he pointed this out, he pointed it out on Twitter, and then he wrote an article where he pointed it out again and said that we should just use this law and maybe tighten it a little. What happened to Hanif Bali then? Yeah, he was compared with Anders Behring Breivik. So because he wants to protect Sweden from Islamic State terrorists, he is compared to the guy who is considered a counter-jihadist terrorist, and I guess you could sort of consider him that. Breivik is not a Christian though. I know people like to point it out, but he is not. He calls himself an Odinist, and this was a digression, I just had to point that out. What also happened in 2015, one of the writers for the Swedish newspaper Svenska Dagbladet, Ivar Arpi, he wrote that the next battleground for the Islamic State will be Europe. Well, what are we seeing right now? What are we seeing in France? I think that he was right. I think that he is right. He is also one of the good guys. There are a few of them in Sweden. Not many, but a few. And what more have we? Well, at the prison in Mariefred, and I have lived close by in my youth, but that's a long time ago now. But anyway, at that prison, Middle Eastern asylum seekers, of whom we don't really know who they are because the vetting is bad, they are getting internships as prison guards. Only in Sweden, folks. Only in Sweden. And I'm sorry, but I have to say this. I used to say, only Sweden has Swedish stupidity. And these are a few examples of that. I will also include, for those of you who understand Swedish, you should listen to what the Swedish author Marcus Birro says in sort of a rant, and I will include a video to that video. It's on Facebook, but you can listen to it if you understand Swedish. Otherwise, it will be difficult, of course. And right now, that's what I have to say about this. I have a feeling I will have to return to this subject again later. And I would like to thank the people who are supporting this channel through PayPal and through Patreon and through prayers, and all of that is greatly appreciated. And if you like this channel, please subscribe so you don't miss anything. Please share my videos on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, and wherever. Please comment if you got something to say. If you like my videos, please like them. And I would also like to encourage you to support this channel. That can, as I said, be done through PayPal, it can be done through Patreon, and any amount, big or small, is greatly appreciated. This is A Swede Speaks. Have a nice day.